Hello and welcome back, everybody. My name is Larry Terrell. I'll be your host, and this is WineXposed. Just tuning into this show every day puts you on the road to discovery. And as we say in the world of wine, discovery is bliss. So let's not waste any time. The wonder of wine awaits us. Our wine journey takes us back to Washington State. We are going to the Yakima Valley today. We are looking at a producer, a sparkling wine from Pacific Rim. This is their White Flowers Sparkling Riesling. This is non-vintage, and it is between. I've seen it online anywhere between $16 and $20. This Riesling is aged sur lie, meaning it is aged on the dead yeast cells, which is a byproduct of fermentation. The reason they do that, it's usually a decision made by the winemaker if they want to affect the wine in a particular way. Sometimes it's basically what the reason they do it is to add some body, to add some texture. They do it to add some complexity on the palate, but also to add some aromas. Typically, what you'll find is a yeasty, bread doughy kind of aroma or aromatic quality that you'll find in a lot of vintage champagnes because of their sur lie aging. Pacific Rim, if you want to visit them online, you can find them at rieslingrules.com. That's RIESLINGRULES.com. They're a fantastic producer, and we're going to be looking at a number of their products in the coming weeks. Okay, so I've already poured the sparkling wine. I did want to say, first of all, that that sparkling wine is not just for celebration. You can open up a sparkling wine anytime. They're great for just enjoying, by themselves, if you're just with friends, or even just, anytime that you just kick back and open up a beer, you might just want to open up a bottle of champagne or sparkling wine if the mood strikes you. But furthermore, sparkling wine makes for a fantastic pairing wine. I think a lot of industry experts would agree that that sparkling wine makes for a fantastic pairing. So you want to do a little research, do some experimentation, open up a bottle of sparkling wine sometime when you're having something that you think might pair nicely. Even if you think it might not pair nicely, you might be very surprised by it. And we'll be definitely getting into some more pairing options using sparkling wine in the weeks ahead when we do some more sparkling shows. Okay, so Pacific Rim, White Flowers, Sparkling Riesling, aged sur lie from Yakima Valley. So, nice light color, not too dark. Kind of a straw color, maybe lemon color. Getting apple mostly. It is, typically when you're looking at a Riesling, when wine is produced with Riesling, you're going to get all kinds of, mostly fruit-driven characteristics on the nose. But being that this is aged sur lie, I'm definitely getting some of those characteristics as well. I am getting a little bit of that bread dough here. And it's a nice balance. Typically, sometimes Riesling can be too fruity or too sweet. This is classified as we saw as being a dry sparkling wine. I think I showed you on the back the sweetness scale on the back. So this is classified as a dry wine or dry sparkling wine. So I think this is 11.5% alcohol by volume. So I think they've done a really good job in balancing this wine. On the initial approach, I definitely get some of that sweetness that this wine would have without the sur lie aging, or without the the fermentation of the alcohol, or the fermentation of the residual sugar into alcohol. I really don't get a lot of. I don't get any heat whatsoever on this wine, so it's not a hot wine. It's not. Being an 11.5% alcohol by volume, I wouldn't expect to get it. I wouldn't expect to get that either. It's definitely a nice. This is very nice on the palate. As this is opening up, and I'm nosing this wine a little bit more, I'm actually getting more of those bread dough aromas. This is opening up quite nicely. So like I mentioned, on the approach, I do get a hit of that sweetness. It fades quickly and goes into, it transitions to a nice mid-palate where it's a bit more full and round in the mouth, and gives it more you get more of that complexity. It just dries up a bit. You know, you only get that sweetness on the initial approach, but then on the mid palate, kind of levels out, and it's a very nice flavor profile. Then on the finish, it spikes. You actually get a little bit of a spike on the finish. Very nice. I would definitely say this is pretty much an average finish, but I mean, you know, it definitely it's an interesting wine to taste, being that it is 100% Riesling. I haven't had 100% sparkling Riesling before, so I was very curious to try this wine, and this definitely is a pleasant surprise at that. So please leave us a comment on the bottom of the show underneath the video review. If you like the show, if you have any feedback for us, please feel free to comment. And I think that does it for another episode of Wine Exposed. We thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you being with us. Hope to see you again. Cheers.